Take the graphics full, you can see it right there, including places such as Sandusky. You can actually see a little hook right there in the western portions of Sanilac County. As we zoom on in right there, this storm again is capable of producing a tornado. We are watching this morning, goes until 3:15 in Sanilac County. So what we're watching right there is the little rotation being picked up by radar. So the red colors they see right there is the winds moving away from the radar. The green, the winds moving toward the radar. That means there's some rotation being indicated by the radar, which is located in Oakland County. Now, again, if you are in the path of this storm in Sanilac County, this is the time to take shelter immediately, going to the lowest level of your home, ideally a basement if you have a basement. If you do not have a basement, going into an interior area of your home, away from windows. Again, if you're in Sanilac County, including extreme far eastern portions of Tuscola County, you are under a tornado warning at this time. That means that we have radar indication of a tornado. And the signature right here is actually very good. There's that hook right there. That is the area that we are seeing that rotation right there. That is a signature that we often see in tornadic storms. So again, if you are in Tuscola County right there, you can see some radar indication of rotation with those winds moving in different directions, you want to go ahead and get in your safe spot right now. This storm also outside of the tornado warned area has the potential for straight line winds up to 60 miles per hour, also some large hail. So even if you are not within the confines of the tornado warning, if you're outside of that a little bit farther out, you could still have some damaging and dangerous winds. Again, if you're in areas such as around Richards Road, if you're around Curry Road, you want to make sure that you're getting in your safe spot right now. Perhaps if you have your cell phone with you, you can of course stream this coverage, but you want to go ahead and get in shelter immediately. This storm is also going to be traveling toward the east, places such as Argyle. You're going to be just to the north of the area rotation, but you're still in this tornado warned area. Deckerville, if you're in Deckerville, you want to go ahead and get in shelter. Places such as Sandusky, around 246. This storm, the center of the rotation will be near you. You want to go ahead and get in shelter if you're around Elmer, around Watertown, you're under this warning. Port Sanilac, you're covered in this warning. You have a little bit more time, but you are in this warning. Again, this storm right now indicating rotation in western portions of Sanilac County. This tornado warning does include at this time still those of you in eastern portions of Tuscola County, but the area of rotation that is of greatest concern prompting this tornado warning is right now in western Sanilac County. You can see this hook right here. It's bringing some heavy rain, and what I do want to do is go ahead and see what more information is coming about. I want to bring in meteorologist Brett Collar, if you can tell us a little bit more about what's happening.
Yeah, Ron, so we're chatting with the National Weather Service, getting the latest information. So far, this is radar indicated, meaning that there's not been anything observed in the area. But on radar, we, again, are seeing that rotation with those reds and those greens. And like Ron was mentioning, it's that classic hook echo that's showing up on reflectivity. This warning coming after a severe thunderstorm warning about a half an hour ago that already was showing some signs of rotation. Now, I do want to talk about the best places to go during a tornado. If you can, take the graphics full here. Safest location, for the most part, is going to be that centermost interior room, staying away from doors and windows. Generally speaking, it's the lowest and centermost point of your home. If you have a basement, that's almost always the best place to be. So again, this tornado warning means that there has been an observation of rotation on the radar. So we do have a life-threatening situation in this part of southeastern Michigan. If you're in the Sandusky area, get to your safe place right now. Deckerville, it's on your doorstep. This storm, along with the tornado threat, large hail, 1 inch in diameter, 90% probability of that. This warning going until 3:15 p.m. this afternoon. There's also more storms moving into southeast Michigan. So quickly, I'll zoom out. Some more storms out in parts of Livingston County, out near Jackson, Genesee County. Those are moving in as well. But at the time, our concern and our attention is on this life-threatening storm, which is moving through northern Sanilac County, just to the west of Sandusky. As Ron had been mentioning, it's these greens and these reds that are coming together that are indicative of rotation. Those brighter colors indicate stronger winds. So the brighter those colors are, the potentially stronger the rotation is. This is just to the west of Snover, I believe it's pronounced. If you're in Decker, go ahead and stay in your shelter for a little bit longer, but hopefully the threat's going to be ending here shortly. If you're in Elmer, go ahead and get into your safe place. Washington Street, Main Street there in Snover. It looks like Arnold Road, rotation's right over you at the moment. If you're over off of Bullgreen Road, if you're off of Kruger Road, get to your safe place right now as the rotation is very near there. Again, Deckerville, you're on the doorstep of where this storm is headed to next. Gates Road, Pitt Road, Urban Road, Davis Road, all these areas which are in a fairly unpopulated area, but if you know these roads, you know that this storm is not far from you at the moment. Ron Hilliard, back to join us here with the coverage here, Ron.
And thank you so much for that, Brett. You, again, want to make sure that you're getting into the most interior portions of your home. We are tracking, if you're just joining us, a tornado warning that includes eastern portions of Tuscola County and Sanilac County. The area of concern that is prompting the warning is already fully in Sanilac County. What you are seeing, though, beyond the tornado warned area, also severe thunderstorm warnings here as well. You see these yellow boxes. There are severe thunderstorm warnings, still including some parts of the thumb that are not in the tornado warned area. Now, these other storms that you still see out towards Tuscola County are capable of straight line winds up to 60 miles per hour. You're also seeing a little of that potential left storm clipping southern portions of Huron County. So this right here, the tornado warned area, we're seeing the rotation, this hook echo signature right here. That is the area that we're seeing the greatest concern. And you also see these tight colors right here, the green and the red. That is showing radar indicated rotation in the storm. And when you see that radar indicated rotation, that is where you see those winds rotating, and that's where you see that funnel coming down. We have not gotten confirmation of a tornado touchdown, but this is showing the potential for a tornado touchdown. So if you're anywhere in this area, around Snover Road, Pitcher Road, some of the other areas that are right near this area of concern, Curry Road, other streets around the area, you want to make sure that you're getting in the lowest level of your home if you have a basement, also getting into the most interior portion of your home. Perhaps that's a hallway, an area away from windows. If you don't have a convenient area away from windows, maybe a closet. If you can maybe quickly toss out some of those clothes and get yourself into that closet, this is the time to go ahead and do it. This storm is moving generally to the east and the east-northeast. Some of the other places potentially in the path of this storm, areas such as around Sandusky. If you're in the Deckerville area, you want to go ahead and get into your safe spot. This storm is also including in the tornado warning Port Sanilac. So if you're in Applegate, Watertown, you're right on the cusp of this tornado warning. You want to go ahead and just get in shelter just as a precaution. But this storm, as you see it right here, it has the potential of large hail and strong winds not even associated with the tornado. So you could still get some strong straight line winds out of this, which could, of course, cause harm to people and also could be dangerous to property. But again, we have a tornado warning if you're just joining us for Sanilac County. This goes until 3:15. You are under severe thunderstorm warnings outside of the tornado warned area in northern portions of Sanilac County and also in Tuscola County around Kingston. As you get over toward Cairo, it's just to the east of you. This tornado warning includes Sandusky. You're seeing this tornado warning including communities just south of Argyle, also Applegate, Port Sanilac, and Forester, all in this tornado warning until 3:15 in Sanilac County. And the area of concern is still right now in western portions of Sanilac County, where you see this hook right here, just to, I'd say, right around the Snover area, and just to the west and the west-northwest of Elmer. Right here is where we have that concern of rotation, right in this area. So if you're anywhere in this path of the storm, even if this area is to the east of you, if you're still in Decker, if you're in places such as Tuscola County, you want to go ahead and get indoors because of the potential for straight line winds. And I want to go ahead and see what more information meteorologist Brett Collar has. Brett?
Yeah, we're chatting still with the National Weather Service. So far, no ground truth to this, but that's something that we're going to keep a close eye on here the next little while. As we've been watching these storms, it's important to know, we want to get back to programming just as much as you do, but being a life-threatening situation and getting new radar scans in every 2 to 3 minutes, it's really important that we stay on this as we're getting new information about where the storm's going to next. Is it strengthening or is it weakening? Is the rotation tightening? Things like that. But in the meantime, again, this is still a life-threatening situation that we're going to keep a close eye on. On top of the velocity scans, one thing that we can look at is a product called CSEER. This is our debris detector. Now, what we're really looking for is a blue contour or a blue ball right about where the rotation is. So the rotation is right over Snover right now. We're not really seeing any signs of debris there. It could be some a little bit to the south and east of there, but the displacement there makes me think that there's no debris being lofted, which is good news. If there was debris being lofted, that would be concerning because that would be more indicative of something on the ground lifting debris up into the atmosphere, and that's very indicative or very common to see with a tornado. In the meantime, though, it's still parts of northern Sanilac County that remain under this tornado warning until 3:15 p.m. Ron Hilliard's been throughout the day tracking these storms. He was on Local 4 Plus earlier when we had a number of severe thunderstorm warnings that were issued. We were tracking them on our Local 4 Plus weather show, which you should check out. But throughout the past couple of hours, these storms have been strengthening as they've been moving from west to east. And the rotation has been tightening. Something that we're going to keep a close eye on here over the next little bit. But again, that's tornado warning goes until 3:15 p.m. this afternoon. That warning also does extend all the way to the lakeshore. So if this storm holds together, it's eventually going to move out over the waters. There are, however, more storms back out to the west and southwest. If you're in Lapeer County, if you're in Genesee or Oakland, Livingston County, Washtenaw County, there's more storms coming your way. It's just this one right now is, of course, the life-threatening one. We'll go ahead and put a quick storm track on the one in parts of Livingston County. That's going to be in the Pinckney area in just about the next half an hour or so. Also a good cell just to the west of Fenton. So if you're in Grand Blanc or Fenton, be prepared for some good storms to head your way in just the next little bit. So I'm going to continue to chat with the National Weather Service. In the meantime, Ron Hilliard's going to be joining us back here in just a bit, and we're going to stay with this. Again, it's a life-threatening situation, so we're going to be with it as we're getting new information in almost every 2 to 3 minutes. So we'll keep a close eye on this. I'll continue to chat with the National Weather Service, and as we head throughout the next couple of hours, we've got Kim Adams coming in shortly to join us. In the meantime, though, we've got a number of severe thunderstorm warnings and a tornado warning that remain in effect. If you're in northern Sanilac County, the tornado warning north of Croswell, Sandusky points to the north. That goes until 3:15 p.m. this afternoon. If you're outside of that tornado warning and you're not under the tornado warning, you could be under that severe thunderstorm warning. That includes Cass City, points to the north of Argyle. That goes until 2:45 p.m. this afternoon. The velocity has been our key tool in this situation as we're seeing those greens and those reds kind of coming together. And the tighter and the brighter that these colors are, the more indicative that there could be some rotation. We're seeing it not only on the velocity scans, but also on the storm relative velocity scans. And this storm relative velocity scan takes the storm motion out of it. So it's really just looking for rotation as best as possible. And you can see it just to the south and east of Snover. And I believe that's how it's pronounced. I apologize if it's not. But nonetheless, we're going to keep a close eye on this storm over the next little bit. If you are in the Elmer area, even though that rotation is just to your north, go ahead and take shelter right now. If you're in the Sandusky area, take shelter right now. We always talk about this. It's generally speaking going to be the lowest and the centermost point of your home. For a lot of us, this is going to be a bedroom in the center of your home, a hallway, stairs, a bathroom. But for a lot of us, it's going to be in the basement. We've got meteorologist Kim Adams joining us as well. She's now in studio. Kim, we've been tracking these storms last half an hour, 45 minutes, and the rotation here is pretty prominent.
Absolutely, which is why we do have that tornado warning. If you are just joining us, I want to give you a frame of reference as to where we're talking about in relation to Wayne County and the surrounding areas. So we'll zoom out just a little bit so you can see exactly where we're talking about. It is not the city of Detroit. It is not the immediate area here in Metro Detroit. We're talking up in the thumb around Sandusky. There's that tornado warning box right there. However, we are starting to see some showers and storms popping up now just to the south of Howell. The movement is to the east. Brett, I believe the movement is still about 40 miles per hour. Is that correct, to the east?
Storm in Livingston County moving east at 24 miles per hour.
All right, so 24 miles per hour. So heads up if you're in parts of Oakland, also Wayne County and into Macomb County, because over the next several hours, we will continue to see these storms fire up and intensify as they move into our immediate area. So,
Morning that was just issued for Lapeer County.
all right, so Lapeer County now, we're going to move back up into the thumb and start talking about what's going on there. The first most important is obviously that tornado warning in effect. It does include the city of Sandusky and parts of Crawlswell moving off to the east. Now this new severe thunderstorm watch box there, that severe thunderstorm warning is until 4 o'clock, and it is for Lapeer County. It's just north of the city of Lapeer. Burnside moving to the east at 26 miles per hour. Cloud tops there, you can tell these are some pretty good sized thunderstorms at about 30,900 feet. There's also reports of hail inside those cells. When we get hail inside of thunderstorm cells, it doesn't necessarily mean there'll be rotation, but it is a good indicator to us that there are some strong updrafts and the possibility of tornadoes. So we're going to take a look here. As Brett was telling you, we're looking for the greens and the reds to kind of tighten up and come together. This is wind going into the radar site and coming out of it. So signs of rotation here, the tighter they get together, the brighter the colors, that's what we're the most concerned about. So here you go, things starting to come together and tighten up. There's Sandusky. If you live anywhere in Sandusky, Elmer, we're talking about Eddy Road right there. If you're in this area, Hull Road, H-U-L-L, Hull Road. If you live in this area, these streets should make sense to you. This is where you need to take cover immediately. If the kids are outside playing, if you live in Port Sanilac, Applegate, Forester, especially Port Sanilac, you need to take cover immediately. So this severe thunderstorm that does show signs of rotation, moving through Sandusky now on its way to Carsonville by 3:05. So moving to the east at 26 miles per hour. If you're just joining us, the red box you see here is a tornado warning. That means it is radar indicated. We have not yet, as far as I know, Brett, still no sightings of a tornado. This is still radar indicated. Is that correct?
Correct. No ground truth at this point, but we've been kind of watching these storms over the last half an hour or so. It's kind of worth noting that the hook echo that we saw earlier is no longer as prominent, no longer as strong. So let's take graphics full. I do want to show you that because that is a good sign as to whether or not this storm is strengthening or weakening. I'm going to back it up just a little bit, and I want you to notice this was at 2:20 p.m. You can clearly see that little bit of a hook echo just to the west and northwest of Elmer. But as we progress in time, you start to see it there as well. But notice the last few frames, there's no longer that comma shape that we're used to seeing with these storms. That comma shape is textbook whenever we talk about storms that are rotating. So even though we're not seeing it nearly as strong, the radar is still showing some signs of rotation, like Kim, like you were talking about, those greens and those reds coming together.
Exactly right. And you know, we can use kind of what happened in Chicago on Wednesday as an example here. Sometimes if there is a tornado, it can go back up into the cloud, come back down again. So there are lots of changes that can happen in a short period of time. So regardless of whether this has been cited, whether there is an actual tornado, if we're seeing signs of rotation and there's a tornado warning, if you live in Sandusky or Elmer or even over to Carsonville, you need to take cover immediately on the lowest level of your house. Hopefully that's a basement. If not, just try to get to an interior room with no windows. Stay away from glass. Most people are injured by flying debris in these situations. So make sure the kids are inside. If you live in Port Sanilac, this cell is headed off to the east at 26 miles per hour. So we're continuing to track it. It will be in Carsonville at 3:05 and then into Port Sanilac. So this tornado warning goes for another 30 minutes. We still have some time here. Now we're looking for some debris.
This is something that it's been showing this, Kim, the past half an hour or so. It almost looks like it's offset a bit. There could be some debris being lofted here, but it's tough to say. We generally look for a nice blue ball in this product. We're not really seeing that like we would see with storm that's lofting debris. And whenever we talk about debris being lofted, we talk about tornadoes, generally speaking. So
keep in mind, too, this is not a heavily populated area, too.
Correct.
So there may not be a lot of debris around to be lofted. So
That's true.
This could be, you know, out in the middle of a field in the middle of the country. So we're just because we're not seeing that here, but it is something that we look for, as Brett said, that really tight ball to look for some debris. But we are getting some reports of large hail, as much as 3/4 of an inch to an inch. So that's about the size of a quarter. That's enough to do some damage to cars. So the cloud tops here now coming down to 23,400 feet with hail at 80%. This is moving to the east at 26 miles per hour. So this red box you see here, once again, if you're just joining us, that is a tornado warning in effect for parts of Sanilac County until 3:15. This is a newer severe thunderstorm warning. The box is flashing in yellow. Those are severe thunderstorms. No rotation detected in this cell, but it doesn't mean that you shouldn't be on guard if you live in Lapeer or cities northward. Now we have a new warning now just came out for Livingston County. This one expires at 3:45. Pinckney, Brighton heads up for Green Oak. This is eventually going to move over into parts of Oakland County. So if you live in Wixom, West Bloomfield, Keego Harbor, if the kids are outside playing right now, I know it's summertime on a Friday, you need to get them inside because you're not under a warning now in Wayne County, but these are in Oakland County, but they're headed off to the east. So tracking the storms here, 3:27. That's when this particular thunderstorm is expected to be over Wixom, South Lyon, 3:09. And within the next 10 to 15 minutes, it will be in Hamburg and Green Oak. It is severe. We're not seeing signs of rotation here. So that you can really see the difference between what's going on up in Sanilac as compared to this thunderstorm cell. Up in Sanilac, we're getting those reds and the greens indicating that there's air flowing away and towards the radar site. That is an indication that there's some rotation, although it seems to have weakened, Brett. I don't know if you're seeing the same thing that I am here, but it does seem like it is weakening slightly, but it's still a strong thunderstorm with the possibility of a tornado. This is radar indicated. There have been no signs of a tornado. It has not been confirmed. No sighting of the tornado, but we are still seeing some signs of rotation, and that's why the National Weather Service did issue that tornado warning in effect now until 3:15. So it's a long time. We've got 30 minutes under this tornado warning. So if you live in Carsonville, Port Sanilac, you need to be taking cover right now. Go to your safe place. Hopefully you know where that is inside your home. Typically it would be a basement, but you can also go to an interior room without windows. Typically, if you don't have a basement and you have a first floor half bath that doesn't have windows, that's a good place to be. If you don't have any room that doesn't have windows in it, go get into a closet. Any place where you're protected from the debris from this potential tornado. So,
you know, Kim, the other thing that is worth mentioning, we're talking about this rotation kind of tightening and weakening. This storm is pretty far away from the radar, and when you kind of think about the curvature of the Earth and the radar beam, the further away you get from the radar, the higher up in the storm that you're looking. So even though the rotation's not as tight as it was a little bit ago, because this storm is moving further and further away from the radar, we're now looking further and further up within the storm. Generally speaking, with these storms that are producing rotation, it's always going to be tightest, closest to the ground. So when we're looking higher up in the storm, it might not be as tight. But because it is still showing some signs of rotation, we're going to stay on it here the next little bit.
absolutely, that's a great point. And so I think now maybe so we're looking here and you can see the reds butted right up against the green. So if you live West Cooper Road, Henderson Road, this is all again in Sanilac County, right around Sandusky. If you are in the city of Sandusky or the surrounding suburbs, or if you live to the east of Sandusky, you need to be making your plans right now, getting into your safe space, getting the kids in from outside. If you live in a home with a basement, go into the basement now. If not, you need to be on the first floor. That's the safest place to be. Get everyone off that second floor and onto the first floor. Because we do see signs of rotation. The National Weather Service has issued the tornado warning. If you're just joining us, it is for parts of Sanilac County. This is north of Detroit. This is up towards the thumb, Port Sanilac, you are definitely in this tornado warning box, so you need to be making your preparations right now. The severe thunderstorm with the potential for a tornado, again, radar indicated, not sighted and confirmed as of right now, in Sandusky at 2:52 and in Carsonville at 3:09, moving to the east at around just under 30 miles per hour, at between 26 and 29 miles per hour, moving to the east, which is why we are concerned with Forester and Port Sanilac. The purple you see here, we're seeing some hail, large hail as much as 3/4 of an inch to an inch, which to us means we're getting some strong updrafts within this thunderstorm. Elmer getting the thunderstorm now as well. If you're in Croswell, it's a little bit to your north, but you're still in this severe tornado box here, so you still need to be taking cover as far south as Croswell. But Forester and Port Sanilac, that's where you need to be making your plans right now, getting into your basement or on the first floor in an interior room with no closets. We'll widen it back out again. We've got this box here. That is a severe thunderstorm warning in effect until 4 o'clock. That is for Lapeer. Right now, it is just before 3. So these warnings are going for long periods of time, as they're not super fast moving cells here. We're moving to the east, northeast at 26 miles per hour. So if you live in Marlette or Burnside, you need to be taking cover now. Also Mayville, seeing again those purples there. Let's track this from Otisville off to the east, northeast at about 26 miles per hour. We've got Otter Lake and Fostoria in the next 15 minutes. So if you are in these areas in Lapeer County, again, if you're in the immediate Metro Detroit area, Detroit, Wayne County, Livingston, Oakland, Macomb County, well, they have the Livingston County right here. I want to go back to that one for a moment. Here's Detroit. There's Warren, Sterling Heights. Over on the west side, we're starting to see these pop up, and they'll continue to move to the east, affecting the rest of the Metro Detroit area. So severe thunderstorm warning remains in effect until 3:45. It includes Pinckney, Hamburg, Brighton, Green Oak, South Lyon. Not seeing any signs of rotation within this cell. It does not mean that it couldn't cause some damage. We've got damaging winds, could be as high as 60 miles per hour. So even if there's no rotation, there could still be damaging winds within these cells, and also large hail. Also another little cell right there just outside of Chelsea, but it's this one here that's under the severe thunderstorm warning. So if you live in Green Oak, this thunderstorm will be in your neighborhood at 2:58, Wixom 3:18, 12 Oaks Mall at 3:23. So if you're checking your forewarned weather app, or if you're planning to head to 12 Oaks Mall, just know that that severe thunderstorm will be over 12 Oaks Mall right there at 96 and Novi Road at 3:23. Walled Lake 3:25, Wolverine Lake 3:29, and Commerce Township at 3:34. There we go. Let's track this one in Chelsea. This one is not part of that warning, but it is still a fairly strong thunderstorm. So it is going to be moving. If we could just move that box over just a little bit, we can see the cities there. Ann Arbor is at 3:31. There we go. Northfield, 3:29. That's Northfield, not Northville. Northfield at 3:29. Webster, 3:23. So if you're in parts of Washtenaw County, you're not under this warning right now, but this is a strong thunderstorm, and as it moves into our area, it could certainly become severe. This is a multi-cell event. We've talked about this over the past few days with our severe weather, where it's not a clean line that's coming through. These are pop-up storms, clusters of thunderstorms that are becoming severe. So let's go back up now into Sanilac so that we can take a look at this tornado warning, focus on that again. Again, here's the city of Detroit. We're talking about north up into the thumb, right outside Sandusky, just now moving to the east of Sandusky into Carsonville. If you live in Port Sanilac, Applegate, Forester, you need to go to your safe space now. Now's the time to get into your basement or on the first floor. Brett, so we're seeing some signs of rotation here. Again, we're looking for the red butted up against the green, and this is velocity. So we're looking for signs of rotation, signs that there's air moving towards and away from the radar site. As Brett mentioned, this is pretty far away from White Lake and the National Weather Service radar, and as the beam goes up, it gets higher, and usually that rotation's closer to the ground. But we're still seeing signs of rotation here right around Wedge Road, West Cooper Road, Henderson Road, in Sandusky. If you're in this area, in this neighborhood here, Wedge Road, Cooper Road, South Sandusky Road, East Sanilac Road. This is where you need to take cover right now, immediately. Go to your safe space now.
You know, Kim, I want to jump in really quick. This is like the perfect example as to why we stay on during a tornado warning. 5 minutes ago, this storm was weakening. Now it's strengthening. The rotation is tightening back up. And I want to show it to you. I'll back it up just a few minutes here, and you'll notice that the rotation, this was about 10, 13 minutes ago. The rotation wasn't that strong. The reds and the greens weren't as tight. But watch what happens. Now we're at 2:53 p.m. and those reds and those greens are butted up against each other once again. So sometimes these storms go through what we call cycling, and they weaken and they strengthen, and they weaken and they strengthen. And here we're seeing now that the latest scan, which came in a matter of moments ago, is now indicating that this storm is tightening back up. Now, again, when we look at these storms, one of the things that we're looking at is debris being lofted? I don't think that we're really seeing that here, which is good news. If you look at where the rotation is tightest, it's just to the southeast of Sandusky, but we're not really seeing much in the way of debris being lofted, at least not on the radar. So that is some good news. This is a radar-indicated tornado, no ground truth. Also not seeing debris being lofted. I'm still chatting with the National Weather Service here, and there's not really been much of an update in terms of ground truth. So again, some good news there. But even with the tornado warning in effect, this is still a life-threatening situation, as we are seeing winds that could exceed 60 miles per hour plus. In fact, let's go ahead and take a look at this radar here showing the potential for maybe a 55 mile per hour sustained wind within that storm, and that's enough to cause damage.
Absolutely, and as you said, these storms cycle, they weaken and then they strengthen, which is why we stay on the air, because we get new scans. The radar does a scan and we get new updates every 2 to 3 minutes. So this is minute by minute, and this red box here, I just want to go over for those of you just joining us. This is a tornado warning. The difference between a watch and a warning. Watch means watch out. We could have the potential for tornadoes. A warning means it has either been sighted or radar indicated. At this point, this is radar indicated, but we are seeing some signs. Look right here, Brett, some signs of intensification just to the north and east of Sandusky. If you are in Carsonville, you need to get to your safe place right now. You need to get to your basement, first floor. This is not something to play around with when we start seeing tight rotation, winds upwards of 55 miles per hour. Even if it's not a tornado, you're going to have damaging, strong winds, strong enough to do quite a bit of damage down trees, power lines, damage to your home, damage to your car. These are strong winds upwards of 55, 60 miles per hour. So it doesn't take a tornado to cause severe damage. Also noticing that the hail size has increased as well. We're showing you different products now that you might not be accustomed to seeing, but as Brett and I are on the air here, we're actually forecasting as well. So there are different things that we need to look at, one of them being velocity. That's a wind detector. And what we're looking for here is exactly what you see right here. It's the reds butted directly up against the green, indicating that there is rotation within a cell. It's kind of become, one scan, it's not as tight. The next scan it is, but there is a tornado warning. So there is definitely the potential in Sandusky, moving over to Carsonville, Port Sanilac, the possibility of a tornado. We're just kind of checking with the National Weather Service to see if we're getting any signs that there is ground confirmation that it has been sighted.
The other thing that we're seeing, notice behind that tornado warning, that severe thunderstorm warning, which is until 3:45, this is a pretty robust line of storms. And those winds are definitely severe. I mean, you look at these reds and these greens. This is straight line winds right here, these brighter reds and greens. I mean, we're talking winds close to 60 miles per hour, between 37 inbound, 31 outbound. Definitely, even behind the tornado warning, it's still a very dangerous situation. We've got a new severe thunderstorm warning that has just been issued now for Oakland County. So we'll zoom down and look at that. That's probably going to be an extension any moment here. I just got that on my phone, so there it is.
Yeah.
It's actually for that storm that's now in northern Oakland County, Kim.
Yeah, let's track that one. It's just outside of Fenton. So if you're in Oxford, Waterford, Pontiac, It's a small cell, but an intense cell moving to the east at 24 miles per hour, puts it in Fenton just within the next couple of minutes. Holly, 312. If you live in Holly, you will have this severe thunderstorm here within the next 5 to 10 minutes. So heads up if you're in Ortonville, Oxford, even into Lake Orion, you're all part of this tornado warning. Again, this is severe thunderstorm warning. This is a new severe thunderstorm warning. It's for the northern part of Oakland County. We still have a severe thunderstorm warning in effect for Livingston County as well, but it's this cell right here moving to the east-northeast at about 24 miles per hour, puts it in Ortonville at 318. Northern parts of Waterford should be definitely making some preparations, getting the kids inside. This is not a tornado, it's a severe thunderstorm, but it doesn't have to be a tornado. I can't stress this enough. We're seeing now, as Brett showed you, straight line winds, upwards of 50, 60 miles per hour. When you see trees uprooted and blown over, it doesn't necessarily have to be from a tornado. Straight line winds can cause a lot of damage to homes. And so even though this is not a tornado situation with rotation, does not mean that it is not something that we need to keep a very close eye on. There is a severe thunderstorm warning, again, in effect, just issued now for the northern part of Oakland County. We'll zoom out just a little bit here because there are multiple cells that we are tracking this afternoon. The one outside of Fenton headed off to the east-northeast. That's going to affect Ortonville. So that's one severe thunderstorm that we're watching. The other severe thunderstorm we're watching is in Livingston County, also headed off to the east, a little bit to the northeast. If you live in Farmington Hills, Livonia, this is moving into your backyard here within the hour. So kind of want to have a heads up there. Even though you're not under a warning right now, it is the time to make your preparations, get the kids inside. It's a summer day, kids playing outside. It's, even if it's not storming or even if it doesn't look like it's about to storm, this is headed towards you. So you need to get the kids inside and also make your preparations for Wolverine Lake and Farmington Hills, even into Livonia. Let's go back up, though, because I want to keep focused on this.
Yeah, I think that we've gotten a new radar scan in here, so let's see what the rotation, it's still there.
Yeah, it's still there. So again, if you've just joined us, tornado warning, it affects Sandusky, Carsonville, over eventually to Port Sanilac. It is until 3:15, so we still have 15 more minutes of this tornado warning, and we are still seeing signs of rotation. This is a wind detector, might be something different than what you're used to looking at. It's velocity. Brett and I are forecasting as we're on the air here, and with each radar scan, things change. But we're looking for the reds butted up against the green, indicating that there is some rotation. This is pretty far away from the radar site, so the beam is higher in the air. So this may actually even be stronger than what the velocity is showing. We're looking for here, this is a debris detector, and what we're looking for is when we see that rotation, we're looking for kind of like a blue ball, indicating that there is debris. There's debris in the air. Starting to see a little bit here, Brett.
Yeah, we keep going back to how far we are from the radar, and unfortunately, this is just one of the crutches that we have. We are